Welcome back. In this lesson, we are moving on to the phrase structure rule for noun phrases. That is rule number 3 and rule number 4. In our previous lesson, we talked about rule 1. That is when the noun phrase consists of only one noun. And in the second rule, we talked about when noun phrases consist of a determiner and a noun. You would agree with me that we can have varieties of noun phrases and different constituents within the noun phrase. This means that we are going to get many rules for noun phrases. We are going to focus on rule number 3 and rule number 4. What is rule number 3? That is when the noun phrase consists of a determiner, which we have talked about, and an adjective phrase within the noun phrase, and then our noun. In exams, you can be asked to give examples of this structure. That is a noun phrase containing a determiner, an adjective phrase, and a noun. These are examples of the structure. These are all noun phrases, and they consist of 3 words. The first one is the determiner. The next one is the adjective phrase, and then the next one is a noun. Remember the rule. The rule didn't state that determiner, adjective, and a noun. It said determiner, adjective phrase, and a noun. This means that when you are drawing your tree and you draw a branch for determiner, you have to draw a branch for your adjective phrase before you expand the adjective phrase. Don't draw a branch for adjective in the same level as the noun. You need to draw a branch for the adjective phrase before you expand that particular branch, and then you draw a branch for your noun. These are examples of such a structure. The rich man, the is the determiner, rich is the adjective phrase which is describing the noun man. In this other example, our is the determiner, green is the adjective phrase which is describing the noun book. In the last one, that is our determiner, expensive will be our adjective phrase because it is describing the noun bag. Let us see how to draw trees when you have this structure. That is, when your noun phrase, the first part of your sentence, that is the subject position, consists of a determiner, an adjective, and a noun. The rich man. First of all, it is a noun phrase and it consists of 3 different constituents. The first one is a determiner, the second one is an adjective phrase, and the last one is a noun. It means that we are going to have 3 branches to show that we have 3 different constituents. So what is the umbrella node? It is the noun phrase, because the whole of this is a noun phrase. Now this noun phrase consists of what? It consists of a determiner, that is the. So you will write D to represent the determiner. And what is the determiner? The. Then you write it below it. We are done with the first constituent of this noun phrase. The second constituent is an adjective phrase. Remember, the rule says that when you have an adjective in between the determiner and a man, in phrase structure, it is considered as an adjective phrase, not an adjective. So do not bring your branch like this and come and write adjective. You are wrong. You need to write an adjective phrase and then expand this adjective phrase. Now this adjective phrase that we have consists of only a single adjective. Therefore, this adjective phrase consists of an adjective, that is rich. We are done with the second constituent, that is the adjective phrase. We have the head word, that is noun. Therefore, we draw a branch and then represent our noun by writing the noun below it, man. That is how to draw trees when you have a noun phrase consisting of a determiner, an adjective phrase, and a noun in phrase structure grammar. So let me go over this again. First of all, you will write your noun phrase. because we are representing noun phrases. So the noun phrase here is the rich man. This noun phrase consists of three different constituents: a determiner, an adjective phrase, and a noun. Therefore, we will need three branches. These are the three branches. This is one branch, this is the next, and then the last branch. This branch is the determiner branch. So this noun phrase consists of a determiner, the. It consists of the adjective phrase, which consists of an adjective, rich, and then this noun phrase consists of a noun, that is man. The point where most students make mistakes is when they are representing the adjective phrase within a noun phrase. In phrase structure, whenever you are representing noun phrases, adjective phrase will always be on the same level as the determiner and the noun, not the adjective. This adjective will be a constituent of the adjective phrase. So take note. Now that we know how to draw trees for this particular rule, try this: the expensive bag. Pause the video and try to draw a tree for this noun phrase. It is very easy. First of all, write your NP to represent your noun phrase. That is what we have here. Now this noun phrase consists of three different constituents. That is a determiner, an adjective phrase, and a noun. Remember, it is not an adjective in phrase structure grammar. It is an adjective phrase. So when you are representing it, make sure you do not go and write adjective as your first branching node. Now let us represent this using the tree diagram. First of all, we need to cater for our determiner. So we draw a branch, then write D below it. D stands for that in this noun phrase. Then we have our adjective phrase. Please don't write adjective. We have our adjective phrase. So you draw a branch to represent your adjective phrase. This adjective phrase consists of a single word adjective. Therefore, you draw another branch to show that the adjective phrase consists of a single adjective. Then you write the adjective below it. Expensive. We are left with the last constituent of the noun phrase, that is bag. This is what you are going to do. You draw your branch, then you write your noun, and then you write bag below it. This is the third rule of phrase structure grammar. That is when you have an optional determiner, an optional adjective phrase, and then a noun. This is how to represent it on trees. Write down more similar examples and then try to draw trees of this structure. Let us move on to rule number 4 of the noun phrase. This is rule number 4. Can you read the rule? That is why we learned about the general rule schema, how to read phrase structure rules. So you've seen that it is very important to watch all the videos in order to understand what we are doing very well. Now that we know how to read the rules, let us read the rule that we have here. You can be given a noun phrase that consists of a determiner, an adjective phrase, the noun, and the prepositional phrase. Why are these in brackets? If you have watched our previous video, we explained why. This is because the elements in brackets are optional. The only mandatory element is the head word, that is the noun over here. So it means that the modifiers are optional and the qualifier is also optional. So can you write examples of this noun phrase? A noun phrase consisting of a determiner, an adjective phrase, a noun, and a prepositional phrase. I've given you 2 examples here. Let us break both examples down. In the first example, the rich man in my village. Let us break it down to see how it matches this rule. This noun phrase consists of a determiner. Can you guess the determiner? That is the. So the is our determiner. Can you identify our adjective phrase? That is rich. Rich is our adjective phrase. What is rich describing? That will be our head word. The head word here is a noun, that is man. Now, can you identify the prepositional phrase? Prepositional phrases always begin with prepositions, and it always comes with a noun phrase. Therefore, the whole of this will be a prepositional phrase. So this is an example of the structure that we have here: a determiner, an adjective phrase, a noun, and a prepositional phrase. So that is rule number 4. When noun phrases consist of a determiner, an adjective phrase, a noun, and a prepositional phrase. Here is another example. We have a determiner, our. We have green, our adjective phrase describing book, which is our noun. And then we have our prepositional phrase as a qualifier of the head word. That is the 4th rule. Try to write down about 4 other examples of this structure, because you can be asked to do so in your examination. Now let us see how to represent this rule on a tree diagram. First of all, let's pick the rich man in my village. The whole of this is what? It is a noun phrase. So what do? We write R and P. Well done. Now let us move on. This noun phrase consists of these elements. How many branches are we going to have? We are going to have 4 different branches. This is because we have 2 pre-modifiers and then 1 qualifier and then the head word. Therefore, we will need 4 branches. So let's start with the first branch. We will represent the determiner. You will draw a branch towards the left and then you will write your determiner. So what is our determiner? There. We are done with that part. Now let us move on to the adjective phrase. Remember, this is not an adjective in phrase structure grammar. So make sure that you do not create a branch and write adjective. If you do that, you are totally wrong. It doesn't go with the rule number 4. Adjective phrases are sisters to the head word, not adjectives. So take note. Therefore, we draw our branch to represent our adjective phrase. Then we expand this adjective phrase. So we draw another branch and write our adjective, which is rich. Now we are done with the pre-modifiers. That is the determiner and the adjective phrase. Now let's move on to draw a branch node for man, which is our head word. We will draw a vertical line and then write N to represent the head word man. We are left with representing the prepositional phrase. We haven't done the rule for drawing trees for the prepositional phrase, but let me give you a tip before we even get there. Whenever you have a prepositional phrase embedded in a noun phrase, the prepositional phrase is always going to consist of 2 parts. That is the preposition and then a noun phrase. We will draw a branch for our prepositional phrase in my village. The prepositional phrase always consists of the preposition, that is in this case in, and then our noun phrase, which is my village. This noun phrase, my village, also consists of what? The determiner, which is my, and then village, that is the noun. This is how to draw trees for prepositional phrases. We haven't gotten there, but it is very instructive to learn how to do it before we get to learn the rules for drawing trees for the prepositional phrases. Let us take another example. Our green book on the table. Pause the video and try to draw your tree diagram of this noun phrase. This is a noun phrase, so we will write a noun phrase. It consists of what? A determiner. So we draw our branch and represents our determiner, R. Then this noun phrase consists of an adjective phrase. So we draw another branch and then write our adjective phrase. And the adjective phrase, we have just one adjective. So we write ADJ to represent the adjective, then we write green. Now we move on to the head word. What is the head word in the phrase? That is the noun, book. Then the prepositional phrase. Can you draw the structure for the prepositional phrase? The prepositional phrase is going to give us what? A preposition and a noun phrase. That is what we have here. But we cannot end here. We need to write the word that represents the preposition. What word is it? On. So we write on, and then this noun phrase must be expanded. Please, in phrase structure, never leave your answer at the phrase level. This noun phrase must be expanded, and you already know how to expand noun phrases. So what is the noun phrase that we are going to expand? We've written on, which means that this is the noun phrase we are going to expand. Very easy. We have a determiner and a noun. So you create your two branches and represent the determiner, that is there, and then your noun, that is table. This is rule number 3 and rule number 4. If you have any questions, kindly drop it in the comment section. This is what is going to help you to master phrase structure. Write down different noun phrases of the same structure and try to draw your tree diagrams for it. In the next lesson, we are going to consider the noun phrase rule number 5. See you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, kindly do so. Press the notification button so that you don't miss the next upload.